Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the KTM India team, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all our guests from the media fraternity, key influencers and experts from the biking world, and motorcycle enthusiasts who share our passion for performance biking. Some of us are also joining us through the webcast via Facebook and YouTube. My name is Vikas Iyer, and I head the marketing for KTM in India. I'm joined by some of my colleagues from the pro biking leadership team of Bajaj Auto, which manages the KTM brand. We have with us Mr. Sumit Narang, President Pro Biking, Mr. Prashant Pingle, Vice President and Service Head Pro Biking, and Mr. Neeraj Sharma, Divisional Head for the West Zone, and members from the sales, service, and the marketing team. Without further ado, I'd like to now call upon Mr. Sumit Narang, President Pro Biking, to take us through KTM's global journey, the Indian performance, and the strategic outlook. May I have you on stage, please, sir?
Thank you, Vikas. I'd just like to reiterate what Vikas said. It's a great moment for us. We're really happy to have all of you with us over here. I think if my memory serves me right, I think we are holding a press event like this after maybe over a couple of years. And I think we really had to wait for something as big an occasion as what we have today to meet up with members from the press, a lot of our brand fans from around the country who've joined us through the webcast, to talk a bit more about what today holds. Since we're meeting after a long time, I thought it's probably in the right place that we might want to share a little bit about KTM and give a perspective to everybody on what's the KTM business like, how it's been in India over the last few years. As what many of you saw over some of the videos that were playing in the pre-roll just ahead of the event, racing is something that runs through the bloodstreams of KTM. It's in the DNA. As a brand, it was born in 1953 in the Austrian town of Medigoffen, where our headquarters still exists. And it's had 66 years of racing legacy. And it's something where this brand has raced across different formats of races. And till date, we've got close to 300 titles across different forms, whether it's a Moto3, or it's a motocross, or it's a supercross, or for that matter, it's the Dakar Rally, which by far has been our favorite and most successful format of racing. As a matter of fact, for the last 18 years in a row, KTM has been winning the Dakar Rally. So that's the kind of success we've had in this particular format. One of the longest standing champions in any format for that matter. The big question is, what is it that really makes a KTM? And what is it that makes it always ready to race? What is it that drives that passion and that capability in the brand to go ahead and win in so many different formats? Let's see a brand video which very beautifully captures the belief, the thought, and the manifesto of KTM as a brand globally. Can we have the video, please?
Racing, a competition of speed, set against an objective criterion, usually a clock. It is where the fastest wins, where the stopwatch doesn't lie, and success or failure is measured at the checkered flag. But for those who live racing, it really is more than just a race against the clock. The tension, the drama, and the unpredictability of the race, all of this adds to what racing really is. In racing, respect is earned the old-fashioned way, and greatness is built one victory at a time. Out there you are alone, with nowhere to hide. Any sign of weakness and you will be exposed.
And then they're coming into the corner. He's up into he's down!
Lose focus for a single moment, and you will face the full wrath of the laws of physics. When the weight of the world comes crashing down on you, will you quit? Or will you dust yourself off and keep on fighting? Racing is where history is made, and where champions rise from the crowd, accepting all challenges fearlessly. Champions aren't only measured by what they have won, but by what they have overcome on their road to glory. Without obstacles, tough battles, and pain, victory is empty. So what is racing then? Racing is 100% commitment to everything you do. At KTM, racing drives us and makes our world turn. This is the world that awaits you. KTM, ready to race.
Last year was a landmark year for KTM worldwide when selling about 2.7 lakh units across the world, it became the largest premium motorcycle manufacturer in the world, overtaking Harley-Davidson. Today, KTM motorcycles are sold in about 72 countries around the world, and the brand is available through multiple formats. So for instance, we do have the naked bikes that we see around here in the form of Dukes. We have super sports bike, the RC range, as we call it in India and around the world. We have the adventure series. We have sports tourers. And then we have formats which really come into play where the road ends. The enduro, the supermoto, the free ride, or the motocross. So this is one brand where we produce great high-performance motorcycles across each of these formats and sell them successfully around the world. KTM's journey in India started in 2012 when we launched the brand over here with the Duke 200. And since then, we've been growing business, range, as well as the kind of products we've been selling over here. In 2013, a year after the launch, is when the 390 Duke joined the 200, and then we had a range of 2 bikes. Those were early days for the brand. In 2014 is when we launched the RC range in both the 200 and the 390 format, and that's when the brand operated in both these forms of the naked Dukes and the fully faired RCs. More recently, in 2017, is when we launched our quarter-liter 250 Duke, which has been a great success. And we also launched the all-new Duke 390, which packed in never-seen-before technology in a bike of that size and form. 2019 has been a huge year for us at KTM in India. What we have focused a lot has been on building the base of KTM riders in the country. And that's when we brought into play our entry-level KTM strategy with the launch of the 125 Duke and the 125 RC. And this has really helped us expand our customer base, which would be upgraded into KTMs as we go along. Since inception, KTM in India has grown by about 44% on an annualized basis. That's since 2012. Now, for reference, the segment of the industry that we operate in, and we call that as a super sports segment, simplistically, these are sports bikes above a price point of about 1 lakh rupees, and just falling short of the super bikes. So say between about 1 lakh and 3 lakh price point in that segment. Now that segment has also been growing well. It's grown at about 24% over these last 6-7 years. Whereas we growing at almost twice the rate is very clearly indicative of how KTM has actually helped drive the growth of super sports bikes in India by presenting products that offer great performance, great technology, and a great riding experience. This year, we are possibly India's fastest growing two-wheeler brand in the current fiscal. Now, we all know the kind of tough time the two-wheeler industry and the automobile industry per se is going through, but backed by our brand strength, our growing distribution, the launches of the new products that we've had, which have been really successful, both the 125cc bikes, we've grown by about 40% since April over last year. And today, as you can see, the brand commands a 34% market share in this super sports segment. So once again, we find we are driving the growth in this particular segment and becoming the fastest growing brand for two-wheelers in the current fiscal. And to add to yet another feather in the cap of KTM India, very proudly we would like to announce that India has become, with our current volume base, the largest market for KTM across the world in just about 7 years since launch. And that is also indicative of the kind of focus, importance, and significance that India holds as a market in the KTM world from the point of view of product development, launches, and building the brand. What KTM has brought, in addition to just a great a product, has been a fantastic combination of technology and performance. I'll not go into the details right now, but all our bikes, they pack in features which are pretty much first to market whenever they do come in. And it brings in a performance which anybody who has ridden a KTM knows that a KTM performance is different from that of any other bike. Lightest in weight, one of the best power to weights ratio, fastest off the block, and very clearly when it comes to really bending and taking the corners, there are hardly any bikes which would beat a KTM. And no doubt that over the last about 7 years since launch, today we have a customer base of over 2 lakh KTM enthusiasts in the super sports segment. And that is one of the biggest assets for the KTM brand in India. What has really built the brand to this degree of success over the last 7 years? I would say there would be 3 big success drivers that have brought us till here. The first has been a very widespread network presence. Second is we don't just sell the bike to our customers and meet them only when they want to come for a service. A person buys a KTM bike and is a member of the family for life, because we've got some constant engagement programs running with the customers which not only make them better bikers, but helps them become a part of the KTM community. And on top of that, we've got a very wide and relevant product portfolio. Today, KTM is available in over 360 towns, sold in more than 460 showrooms. So it's a product that's available across the length and breadth of the country. So anybody buying a high-performance bike from KTM has the confidence that any kind of a service backup is only available at arm's length. We have been creating a lot of customer engagement activities to help our customers realize their biking dreams as well as become better bikers. For example, we've got a format what we call as an Orange Cup, which happens on a track, and it's a championship, a one-make racing championship. And we've had about 3 seasons of that so far. We create track days for mentoring young racing enthusiasts where they are trained and coached by professionals and experts on how do they become better at the track. And we have held these events in more than 7 towns, and there are about 60 such events that we have already held. These are some very, very high quality events that we hold. On a much larger scale, in about 65 towns across the countries. So now we are talking about going beyond metros, mini metros, even getting into other larger cities and towns. We have held more than 300 events till date, what we call as an Orange Day, as many of you would be aware, where we create a track or we use a go-kart track to give our customers and enthusiasts the nearest experience, closest experience they can have to a track racing. And this is something which is provided to them completely free of cost from the brand's side. Keeping the community together, we've got rides and tours which are taking off every week. It's something, as you can see, we have rides taking place in 300 towns across the country. We've had more than 3,000 rides and tours which have happened in the last about few years. And all this has gone in making orange really the color of choice and something that all our bikers wear with a lot of pride. Of course, there is nothing like having the right kind of a product portfolio for any brand. And we've built up our portfolio. If you look at the mid part of the portfolio as it existed, we had bikes in the 200, 250 and 390 cc range in the naked as well as the fully faired format. This year, we strengthened the bottom of our pyramid and created an entry-level KTM with the 125cc. That's brought in a lot of young customers. We find that about half of our customers who buy the 125, this is their first bike and first love. Many of them are just out of school, getting into college or a similar stage in life. And that's the kind of a portfolio in this super sports segment that we operate with. And our estimate is that this is a segment that's roughly about 2 lakh bikes annually and growing rapidly, as I shared a while back. But on top of that is a segment of super bikes. And that's where we believe there is still space available for us to move the brand up to. It's a segment of about 7,500 super bikes that are sold annually. But it's a very rapidly growing segment. As we do see around, there's a rising culture around super bikes. And of course, the reasons for that are really well known to a lot of us as we look around. There's a lot more increased awareness and exposure to biking, performance bikes, etc. There's a rising super biking community and training facilities which are available across the country and growing rapidly. And there's a lot of increased interest anyways amongst men and women in outdoor and adventure. And that's where these two wheels, of course, bring in the best of adrenaline rush. However, despite all the growth, so far the superbike segment is fairly small. It's quite a niche. It's about 1% of the total sports motorcycle segment, which would be the bikes above 150cc and upwards. And we believe what it is limited by is obviously limited by reach and by service presence. And that's where we see an opportunity for KTM to not only mark our presence in this segment, but also to accelerate and expand, bring in a lot new customers into this segment by giving them a product, giving them accessibility, what they would want to make an investment like this. I think what an opportunity lies is for an outstanding product which can dominate this segment, the opportunity of a network, a service network being available at arm's length across the country. And what you need is a very strong customer base and a fan base. People who believe and are passionate about KTM as a brand and therefore are willing to move up the ladder into a superior product. We take a lot of pleasure and pride to present to you the all-new offering from KTM right now. Can we have the brand video, please? presenting to you the all-new KTM 790 Duke, the brand's entry into superbikes, what we affectionately call as a Scalpel for its precision and razor-sharp performance. To tell you more about the product, which I'm sure you'll be very eager to know about, let me invite back on stage my colleague Vikas Iyer, who's our marketing head for KTM. Please welcome Vikas back on the stage.
Good afternoon once again. The 790 Duke is designed to be the sharpest and the most precise street weapon. It's a perfect testimony to KTM's excellence in engineering and design, the result of which is an agile, high precision, and a power-packed riding experience full of confidence and control. When it comes to style, the 790 is unmistakably a Duke in its design, with a sharp, aggressive style and crisp lines, avoiding any unnecessary design elements, giving that clean look of a pure-play street fighter that's reduced to its bare essentials. The 790 Duke sports an all-new 799cc 8-valve DOHC parallel twin-cylinder engine and boasts of class-leading levels of 87 Nm torque and a maximum output of 105 horsepower. It's also called as the LC8C engine, standing for liquid-cooled 8-valve compact engine, and it employs a horizontal split crankcase with forged pistons and connecting rods to ensure that the weight is kept to a minimum. Two balancer shafts have also been placed to ensure that the vibrations are reduced, and the engine in itself is used as a stressed member of the chassis, making it one of the lightest in its class and contributing to excellent overall power-to-weight ratio. The engine is built for torque, and therefore what you get is a nice, torquey machine, a lot of usable power through the RPM range, and ending with a high top-end rush. The bike carries an ultra-lightweight frame, which has been developed with focus on compactness and weight reduction. It uses chromium molybdenum tubular steel, ensuring a strong and rigid frame. The stiffness on the frame has been tuned to ensure that the rider always feels what the bike is doing. The die-cast open lattice swing arm has been designed for stiffness and stability, offering excellent flex characteristics. The entire air filter is also housed within the subframe, thereby allowing fresh air to enter the throttle. One of the key differentiating factors of the 790 Duke is that we have built it with a comprehensive set comprehensive electronics suite in its class. The advanced electronic control unit comes and manages a complex nervous system of 18 sensors and more than 15 actuators, which communicate in perfect sync and work behind the scene to give the rider control and precision of the highest order every split second. Let's take a look at some of our unique and cutting-edge technologies that are working together to give unmatched precision. Starting off with the motorcycle stability control, which is a control system which supports the rider during braking, acceleration, straight line, or cornering by continuously monitoring a comprehensive set of vehicle data like torque, acceleration, lean angle, pitch angle, yaw rate, and so on and so forth to detect critical situations and intervene if necessary. Let's take a quick look of how the MSC works through a quick video.
For many, the world is best when seen at a slant. When you can feel the power of the engine in your arms, the wind in your face, and the hum of the bike in your belly. You can hardly improve on the pleasure of the experience, but you can make it considerably safer. With MSC, Motorcycle Stability Control from Bosch. The MSC system now supports motorcyclists in all driving situations, helping them maintain control while braking and accelerating, on straight stretches, and in curves. The system continuously collects and evaluates all key motorcycle data: wheel speed, lean angle, pitch angle, acceleration, braking pressure, and many other parameters. It can thus recognize critical situations and intervene in time. MSC can prevent the wheels from locking, help stop them from side slipping on curves, and stop the motorcycle from righting itself when braked from a lean angle. The system distributes the braking force optimally to both wheels, even when only one brake is actuated. Motorcycle stability control will only ever make its presence felt when it's needed. The system is designed to work in the background without affecting the dynamic performance of the bike or the thrill of the ride. With MSC, the motorcycling experience is just as unique and exhilarating as ever. But now, it comes equipped with a reassuring sense of safety as well.
The motorcycle stability control works along with the cornering ABS, which is a first in its class from the 790 Duke. The cornering ABS allows hard braking at lean angles without standing the bike or losing the grip to the road surface. Can we have a quick look at the cornering ABS video, please?
ABS systems and MSC. Braking late or too late in a corner can be tricky and exhilarating at the same time. Different types of ABS and MSC can help a motorcycle rider to smoothen out a late braking procedure. Now let's take the motorcycle to a simple corner and do the same test. When we compare the two motorcycles, you can see the ABS bike stops in a controlled manner, but the actual advantage of the MSC system can be best seen by looking at the motorcycle position on the bike without ABS. We might have a more controlled stop, but the test shows that it's hard for the rider to maintain the right direction of travel. The cornering ABS is part of the MSC system, helps you get the best out of the situation. On selected KTM motorcycles, the motorcycle stability control sensors enable the cornering ABS to monitor several parameters: pitch angle, lean angle, roll rate, longitude and vertical acceleration, and many more. In our next test, we will show you the difference between braking with a motorcycle at high speed and considerable lean angle without ABS, and one with MSC cornering ABS. With all this data, the MSC can calculate 100 times a second what type of corner we're riding and what the best solution would be. Finally, we'll have a closer look at second and first place, the difference between ABS and cornering ABS. Both motorcycles display controlled stops, but the direction of travel is maintained with the MSC and cornering ABS version, keeping the rider and its motorcycle ready to race.
The 790 Duke comes with the motorcycle traction control, which reacts whenever there is excessive slippage by smoothly decreasing the engine torque, thus reducing the slip in proportion to the lean angle. The anti-wheelie support function ensures that the front wheel is always on the ground. The MTC system works in the background and reacts within milliseconds, so it's hardly noticeable as an intervention. Let's take a quick look at the video on MTC.
KTM's motorcycle traction control. Traction control on a motorcycle intervenes when the rear wheel speed is higher than the front wheel. Loss of traction, which looks great for show, technically doesn't win you any races. In our test on a wet, low-grip surface, we will show you the difference between no traction control and KTM's motorcycle traction control. With regular traction control, we would only measure the wheel speed of the front and rear wheel, so the system can only respond after the fact has happened. But with KTM's motorcycle traction control, the system combines the torque request sensor's engine speed, throttle, and gear position, so we can speed up the intervention process. Another set of sensors the MTC adds to its calculations are the lean angle sensors, pitch axes, and accelerometers, allowing the system to respond faster and help the rider earlier, even in a cornering situation. First, we'll show you what happens when a professional rider on a motorcycle with traction control asks for full power mid-corner. With our 1290 Super Adventure R in MTC Street Mode, we've asked the same rider to open up full throttle mid-corner and see what the motorcycle traction control does to help the rider. To make it easier to watch, but we don't recommend you do this at home, we've lowered the grip by watering the track where our rider opens up the throttle mid-corner. Motorcycle traction control is one of the main topics within KTM's MSC Motorcycle Stability Control System. Check the other videos in the series for more information.
Moving on, the motor slip regulation is again a control system which works along with the power-assisted slipper clutch and the ride-by-wire dynamics of the 790 during abrupt downshifts to alter engine torque by precise amount to avoid the rear wheel chatter. This is especially useful in low grip surfaces. Let's take a quick look at what MSR does.
Aggressive downshifting is part of riding a bike sportily, but when the engine braking is greater than the rear wheel speed, it causes an effect that could destabilize the motorcycle. In our test, we'll show you the difference between a motorcycle downshifting with and without slipper clutch. On high grip surfaces, the force coming from the rear wheel activates the slipper clutch mechanism to prevent hopping of the rear wheel. On low grip surfaces, MSR adjusts engine braking by balancing engine RPM to prevent the rear wheel locking up. Slipper clutch is a mechanical aid, and MSR is an electronic aid that uses the ride-by-wire to balance the engine torque. The benefit of MSR specifically helps the slipper clutch on low grip surfaces.
The Quick Shifter Plus feature of the 790 Duke allows up and down shifting without the need to operate the clutch. So now the rider's hand can be safely held on the grip as he throttles through. One of the most exciting features of the 790 Duke is that it comes as standard with 4 ride modes. You get a sport, street, and a rain mode along with a fully configurable track mode. These options allow you to adjust the engine's power delivery, throttle response, and the traction control to your preference and to the prevailing riding conditions. Moving on to the track mode per se, the track mode is a rider configurable ride mode offering access to several control parameter presets. With this, you can adjust the motorcycle traction control in 9 increments to a specific amount of slippage. You can also pre-select one of the power delivery modes, alter the throttle response, be the first one of the block with the launch control feature, or simply disengage the anti-wheelie subfunction, which is otherwise aimed at keeping the front wheel on the ground. The 790 Duke contains Maxxis Supermax ST tubeless tires, which are placed on extremely lightweight 17-inch aluminum rims. They feature a nanosilica compound built specifically for the 790 Duke for improved wet and dry grip. This ensures an outstanding balance between aggressive handling on one hand with high-speed stability and everyday rideability with low, consistent tread wear. The top quality suspension package from White Power significantly contributes to the exhilarating agility and the aggressive riding dynamics of the 790 Duke. The front features a 43 mm open cartridge upside down forks with split function technology for precise damping characteristics. And the rear comes with gas-assisted shock absorber fitted with a progressive spring and allows a suspension wheel travel of 150 millimeters. The TFT on the 790 Duke is state-of-the-art and full color, where core data is displayed clearly and crisply. Brightness is automatically adjusted for ambient light levels to ensure optimum visibility, and the menu options are versatile and intuitive, providing an easy access to this multifunctional cockpit. Every single light source on the 790 Duke is LED based. It boasts of a unique high-performance LED headlight for outstanding road illumination, flanked by two LED strips that function as daylight running and position lights, while at the same time creating a very unique light signature. The 790 Duke also allows multiple adjustable features, helping subtle variations make a huge difference in the ride feel. The handlebar is adjustable in 4 positions as standard and can be rotated to further 3 positions. Both brake and clutch levers are 4-step adjustable as standard, and the position of the footrest can be adjusted as per rider's choice of gear pattern. Along with that, the seat height of 825 millimeters can also be adjusted by 20 millimeters either ways through a Power Parts accessory program. All in all, in summary, the 790 Duke has been built to feel as sharp, compact, and precise as possible, while accommodating for a wide range of riders with different physiques. These world-class ergonomics are inspired to build confidence in the riders at different skill levels, putting the beginners at ease with its intuitive way of teaching you how to ride the bike, and making more advanced riders feel comfortable when they ride the bike aggressively, challenging themselves and the bike to hit the apex. So whom are we targeting with this bike? Now, the bike is meant for those for whom biking runs in their veins. Riders who have prior experience of riding a super bike will completely appreciate the bike's low weight and an excellent power-to-weight ratio when they take the bike around the corners. Those seeking to enter the super biking world will again find the 790 Duke having the perfect combination of performance, agility, style, features, and value. We're extremely delighted, like we said earlier, that we've groomed more than 2 lakh plus KTM enthusiasts who will find this bike as a perfect upgrade. And to these customers, we promise them to give an unmatched experience as we have been doing so far. We'll be engaging with them through a host of exclusive and premium engagement properties like the Super Rides and the Super Track Days. Moving on, we plan to launch in 9 cities today, and we'll be extending it to 30 plus cities by April 2020. So, with the addition of this 790 Duke, KTM now has the widest and the most complete range of performance sports bike in India. Customers can buy their first bike as a KTM at 18 and stay with the brand for the next 20 to 25 years as they fuel their biking passion and become more proficient bikers. And well, there is more to come in the KTM stable, but let's keep that for another day. For now, let's move on to the most awaited section of this afternoon, the price. The launch price of the 790 Duke will be ex-showroom 8.63 lakhs. This is also backed by an interesting and easy ownership plan, which will be available at a down payment of 1.7 lakh rupees, which is the cost one would pay to buy a super sports bike in India today, and an easy EMI option of 19,000 only. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 790 Duke. Can we have the bike on stage, please? have Mr. Sumit Narang on stage for the photo opportunity, please? At this stage, we would like to thank our audience who have joined us via YouTube and Facebook. We would now throw the floor open for question and answers.